Just nice and easy. Feel yourself resting on the ground. Sometimes this first moment that we're here on the ground it's like our muscles are starting to tell us things that maybe we haven't been listening to for a while. So it's like if you were extra stiff yesterday, maybe the back muscles here are a little bit tight, or maybe we're feeling different things going on. So use this moment that we're connecting with our intention as a good chance to try to just breathe and let our body start off from a really good relaxed state. Just let it flow in and out a few times. And as it's flowing, we'll take that quick moment to connect with our intention. With the spring equinox coming up soon, we've got that idea of, the days getting lighter, weather getting warmer. The plants are going to start popping up anytime now. And so imagine in our class today that it's like we're starting off as a seed. We're starting off a lot tighter. We're even going to physically start our body off in that seed shape. And a couple of times we'll do different things like child pose, different resting poses like that feel kind of curled in like that little seed. So imagine, what if we're a seed? And imagine that it's getting to that time of year, we're just about to burst open and start growing our plant. And so it's like that question internally, what type of growth do I want to see over the next couple of weeks, over the next couple of months in this spring season for me? What would I like to grow in my kind of metaphorical garden? What would I like to see become manifest and just kind of bloom in front of me? And while we're considering that question, let's start to take our knees into the chest. And just kind of decide, what seed am I picking out to plant for my class today to kind of get me kick-started for this coming season of spring. A couple of breaths here, just easing into hips, easing into low back as we ponder that question. Imagine in that kind of seed state, we're going to need to slowly pick up momentum. We'll get warmer and warmer as we go. But imagine here at first, we need to start super easy, super gentle with our body. So it's going to be a little bit slower at first. We'll start off actually with a couple of stretches, and then we'll slowly build our way. Little by little by little, gather more momentum, gather more heat. And it's like the exponential growth of the plant. At first, it's just trying to pop out of the seed, and eventually it becomes that full plant. So as we're getting started with that slower cycle, let's take left leg and drop it long to the ground. Right leg up to sky. And you choose the perfect thing that will stretch you out here. So sometimes it's focus on ankle for a few moments. Sometimes it's focus on hamstring. But give our body that first chance to just start moving, start stretching for us. Breath is continuing to flow. Let's take a chance for right leg to open out wide to right. So the inner thigh stretch for a moment. Core still lightly engaged so that the hip doesn't have to lift off the ground. When leg lifts back up, cross the straight leg about halfway, that 45-degree angle to the left. This gets us into the IT band for just a moment. And then when we bend the knee, let's allow the knee to go into the twist. You choose the perfect amount. Maybe right arm reaches out to right, starting to open up that area of our body, but don't feel like you're forcing it. Okay, when hips go back to the ground, let the right thigh cross tightly over the left thigh. And then we're trying to grab onto ankles if we can reach that. Couple of breaths here. Feel those hips, especially go deep for a moment. When we release our hands, the feet find the floor. Wind the right elbow under the left elbow. Maybe you stay here if this already helps us feel our shoulders opening, or maybe the fingers try to travel to the ground above our head. So now from this bound up shape, we're gonna take 15 rounds of crunches. So the idea is first to start out with an inhale, and then exhale, elbows try to come up to knees. Even legs can lift, that's fine, and down. So here's 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Unwind the arms. Send both legs up to the sky. Bringing the thumbs slightly under hips. Let's allow both straight legs to lower down a little bit. Low back is still very solid on the earth. And then both legs lift back up. So your choice, how far down you go. Know that you don't have to do much to get into this. Good. Starting to include some of those abdominal muscles. Maybe feeling a difference between right leg and left leg. Whatever distance we're doing, let's take another 5, 4, keep the breath flowing. 3, 2, 1. And then both legs open out wide. Let's rest our hands on our inner thighs. Give it a breath or two. Good. Feel that heart starting to beat for us. It's like feeling very alive. Imagine that's like us in a seed state. We're starting to germinate. Things are starting to wake up a little bit. Legs back together. Let's plant our feet right beneath the glutes. And let's take 10 bridge poses. So hips roll up. We're all up one vertebrae at a time. And back down. Coming up 9. 8. 7. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Those easy stretches on second side. So right leg drops long. Left leg takes its stretch up to the sky. Maybe ankle rolls. Maybe this is about hamstring. You choose. Be conscious. So the body alive, doing good things. Like we're trusting in the process. I know I'll get stronger by sticking with it. Now let straight leg go out to left for a moment. Brief moment to get into inner thigh. Leg comes back up, take it to the 45-degree angle over to the right. Maybe right arm opens up to right. It's like the IT band area, not super deep yet. And then as the knee bends, we can sink a little bit deeper into the twist if it feels good for our spine. And the hips are turned back to floor. Let the left thigh cross tightly over the right thigh, and then hug in, giving that grip around the ankles if you can reach them. Knees are also fine. Hands release. Drop the legs down. They're still crossed over like this. Left elbow winds under right. Maybe the fingers find the floor. Maybe you kind of aim to a different angle if that's what helps your shoulders out. Okay, preparing for 15 crunches. When you're ready, start with an inhale prep. Exhale, crunch elbows toward thighs. And relax. 14. 13. 12. 11. 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Unwind the arms. Legs go straight up to the sky. Maybe thumbs tuck slightly under hips. And we take another round, lowering legs down, lifting legs up. Maybe you're going slightly lower than before, or maybe you know that that was a pretty good range for about how many we're going to do. You can always make it easier, not going quite as far. Keep the breath flowing no matter what. Let's do another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Now before we do the open legs, let's do 5 cycles, opening our legs as if there's a resistance band. So we're creating our own resistance. And then legs squeeze back together with resistance. 4. And squeeze. 3. 2. 1. Good. Now leave the thighs open, hands can rest. If the legs are a little fatigued, you can let the knees bend here. That would be fine. You'd still get the inner thigh stretch. But if straight legs helps you feel more, go for it. Your choice. Good, legs up to sky. Hands go back to the floor, even slightly under hips. This one's kind of a challenge. The idea is that we're trying to lift our hips off the ground. So the first angle people tend to do is try to bring the thighs directly toward you. If you can get the hips off the ground, trying to bring it toward you, the second thing you would do is go in and then up a little bit. So they call this one a jackknife. So up to you, either just do the best you can bringing it in or go in and up. I'm gonna count another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Plant the feet close to the glutes. Let's take just 5 bridge poses this time. So rolling up. Exhale down. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Good. Lift up one more time and stay a few extra breaths. So once you're up, maybe hands can clasp under your back. If you can do the clasp, walk the shoulders under. Keep the knees squeezing together, a little bit of activation for inner thighs. Holding here just a few more rounds of breath. Keep it flowing. One more inhale. Exhale, release hands, release shoulders, roll down. Beautiful. So from here, take right ankle up onto left thigh. Our right arm opens out to right. Left hand comes behind the head. We're going to try to crunch that left elbow toward that right knee. So this includes obliques a little bit. So doing a nice crunch, going for 10. I'll usually kind of prop myself up with the elbow and then roll back down. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Let the head relax down. Thread the arms around the left side. We're getting into that right hip. Give it a couple of breaths. Time, patience, it's what heals it all. Imagine that right before a seed is about to break through, right when it's about to burst into create, the little stem and the first little root system. I imagine in that moment, right before that happens, I imagine heat. And it's interesting to say that because I don't usually think of plants having that much heat, but I imagine it's almost like everything's jam-packed. It's like infinite potential, so many cells packed together, so much motion going on. And then all of a sudden, it's just too much to stay inside. And so imagine as we're on the floor still, it's like we're still in that seed state. We're still building up our heat. We're jam-packing those cells together. And in just a moment, when we start to come a little bit more upward, imagine that that's like the seed just starting to break forth. Before we can get there though, we have to do another side. So go ahead and relax. Right foot on the ground, left ankle up. So the right hand is supporting the head, left arm is open to left. We've got that oblique crunch. So right elbow to left knee, crunching up and relax down. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and give it a little hug, spreading around the right thigh this time. I love that sensation of my heart picking up a little bit. There's actually something really important that happens in our body when we exercise. Most of the time, our immune system, the little T cells, are hanging out on the kind of the outside of the blood vessels. So like they kind of stay right against that blood vessel, right against the side. But when we exercise, when we get our heart rate up a little bit, the blood vessels actually dilate, and that makes it so that those little T cells, part of the immune system, is actually freed. And so that starts to circulate much more in our system. So I love that sensation. I almost imagine I can feel it, like that extra energy, the extra vibrancy you have in your life. When you exercise, I imagine that's like your whole body just being happy, including your immune system. So imagine we're just helping our system out. Good things are happening, even if it's hard. Good. So now, as you kind of keep this right thigh in, completely relax the left leg, extend it out to hover right above the ground. That should feel pretty good after that tight compression it just had. So then from here, take left knee in, right leg hovers above the ground. So this is the variation. This is the exercise we're doing. One knee in. The variation here with hands hugging and just one leg hovering out, that's a nice variation, nice and easy, especially after what we just did to kind of get those hips moving again. If at some point you want to make it harder, take your fingers behind the head and you're twisting opposite elbow to opposite knee that comes in. So don't feel like you have to force it. In fact, don't feel like you have to speed up at all either. Going nice and slow here can be really nice. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Drop left leg down, right leg back up to sky. Give it another stretch. It's like this is that moment right before we burst out of the seed. Maybe even walk hands up the right leg, pulling the nose, the knee into the nose. Good. Head down for a moment. Maybe the leg gets pulled even deeper. And then slowly let right leg drop down. Once it's down, left leg up. Same thing, easy stretch it first. Give it a breath or two. Maybe forehead comes up, try to pull the knee a little bit more. Like we can walk a little bit higher up. When head drops back down, can we pull the leg with us? Beautiful. So now right leg hovers above the ground again. Exhale, switch the legs that's in our hands. Exhale, switch. No hands would be a way to make this harder, but this is pretty challenging already, so don't feel like you have to. So here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, good. Drop the legs down to the earth. Here's the moment we're kind of breaking through the shell. What we're gonna do is roll-ups. So start off with just the arm stretching up overhead. Take a moment to feel the low back arch. That can actually feel really nice after a lot of this core movement we're doing. We're gonna try to go for 5 cycles of roll-up. So inhale, prep. Exhale, lift the arms up above us. If you can, continue to roll up your spine 1 vertebrae at a time until you're stretching over your legs. If you can't make it all the way up, just practice the first half of it, that rolling up and down a few times. Good. So when you're ready to come back down, again, 1 vertebrae at a time. It's like super slow motion. Make sure you take your inhale, prep. Exhale, start to roll up. And then return back down. We've got 3 more of those. Two. Last time we come up, we'll stay in the stretch. So this might mean knees are a little bit bent. That would make it easy to go into the stretch. It might mean legs are straight, so it's really up to you to know, but it's a place that can be restful for the spine for a few moments, especially let the head just drop down. Then rise up. Let's take a little boat pose. It's like we're starting to build that strength to continue to grow outside of the shell. So in boat pose, knees are together. Maybe hands are on thighs full time, that's fine. Maybe hands are free. If you're free of hands, maybe one leg straightens out. Then maybe the other. Sometimes both legs can stay straight. It's whatever you can do to maintain it. We're holding for another count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Bottoms of feet together. As we're taking cobbler, sit up tall here. The idea is whether the grip is at ankles or toward knees, the idea is kind of trying to use the grip to pull the shoulders down as we sit up really tall. So it's kind of like pulling those shoulders down into a little stretch. So while we're there for just a moment, let the right ear drop to right shoulder. Give that neck a chance to stretch. It's like we're starting to wiggle those first little things out of the seed. Good, head gradually back up. Go over to left. Back up. Chin up and then jut the jaw forward. That should stretch front of throat instead of back of neck. Good. Relax the head back to neutral and then getting into back of neck, drop the chin down. Sometimes it takes me a couple of moments to get into it by just going an inch or so right and left. And then when I start to feel that neck stretch, just stay. to round down. It's like the head is leading us down toward cobbler, but it's a much more rounded cobbler instead of kind of forcing a straight spine forward. It feels very different. It's one where you probably don't need to go as far because this really gets into some of the upper back muscles and the neck muscles. Good. So rolling the spine back up. Pick up the knees. Hands are right, kind of barely touching the floor behind us to help us balance. And then our legs are going to do bicycles. So kind of hold up and boat, and then circle the right leg up and around 10, and left leg. It can be smaller, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Plant the feet, plant the hands close to the shoulders. This is going to be tricep dips. It's like we're starting to explore some of our boundaries. So lift the hips up, but then from here, all you have to do is bend the elbows and place the elbows straight. So here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Swing the legs underneath us and take a little child pose. That'll give those triceps a little chance to stretch and a little break for our wrists. So again, this is a shape that kind of feels like that seed. Okay, coming up onto hands and knees. Take just 2 rounds of cat-cow, making sure our spine and the back muscles are feeling good. So round up and down. 1 more. Beautiful. Spine back to neutral, feel that core engaging. Today, when we do different plank things, know you always have the option to go down to elbows instead. But the idea here, taking our first plank, is from plank pose, we're going to rock forward and backward on the toes. It's like our head is a battering ram. We're trying to kind of like break free of that shell entirely. So taking plank, when you're ready, rock forward 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Drop the knees down. Take a moment with puppy pose. So leave hips over knees, arms stretch forward. A little bit of a back bend. Good. Walk the hands back under shoulders. Another chance to reset the spine. Take a cat, a cow. Good. Spine to neutral. The right arm goes forward, left leg back, so opposites. Sometimes just balancing here is enough work. If you can maintain balance, maybe exhale, elbow and knee touch underneath. Inhale, stretch out long. Exhale, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Drop that left knee down. Reach the right arm back up to sky. And then thread the right shoulder down. Let it spiral. Let that spine twist. Just a couple of breaths here. Maybe left hand stretches to the top of that. Maybe it winds around your low back. Okay, left hand in front of face, press into it. Once we're here again, take a cat and a cow. Second side, spine back to neutral, right leg back. Left arm forward. Awesome. And here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Knee down. Left hand up to sky. And thread it down. Yep, maybe right arm toward top of mat. Glide the right hand in, press into it. Take a cat, a cow, spine to neutral. 5 Spider-Man crawl planks. So we're in plank, and then right knee comes to touch right tricep, left knee to left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Right down to dolphin pose, lower to knees for a moment, and then drop to elbows. Tuck the toes back under, lift the legs up. It's like a down dog, but we're on our elbows. Maybe the toes can walk in. This is good for shoulder strength. So we'll eventually drop down to child, but keep on maintaining this as long as you still have good breath flowing in and out. Give me 3 more good breaths. Whenever that third breath finishes, feel free to take child. Give it a couple of breaths. Maybe arms are forward, maybe they're tucked back, your choice. Okay. We're heading toward that last little segment of class, just a couple more challenge things left. So to transition toward the next one, almost like a plant tries to grow up, we're going to do a little bit closer towards standing. Just a couple of things. So come up to down dog for just a moment, float the right leg up to sky, then right foot steps in between the hands. We try to stay with the legs in this shape generally as we float our arms up to sky. Good. And because we did a lot of wrist stuff, we're going to focus on wrists for a moment. Hold the fingers back and then drop the arms down. And then tuck the fingers in, let them float up. Inhale, exhale. Do another 4. 3. 2. 1. Good. Now float the arms up by the ears, leaning forward a little bit. We're shifting our weight onto our front leg. We're gonna try to balance, letting that left knee come in, elbows into our waist. Good. Touch the toes back, extend the arms out. 9, and come back up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, feeling those glutes burning. 3, 2, 1. Good. Now let that left leg just step back. Both heels are on the floor. Let's take a little stretch before the second side. And slide down. The front leg is getting a good stretch. Maybe we pause at the halfway angle. Maybe we go a little bit lower to shin, to ankle, to floor. Inhale. Exhale. Hands plant. Slide the front foot back into down dog shape. Feel the glutes kind of wiggle around a little bit after that strength. Good. We got one more side. Left leg floats. Stepping in between hands. Find your balance to float up. Good. Flex the fingers back. Exhale down. Inhale up. 4. 3. 2. 1. Good. Arms reach forward. Or weight onto the front leg. Try to float the right knee, elbows in. And step back. That's 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Good. Right foot steps back just a little bit. Make sure the hips are still forward, like they're trying to go straight, and then we'll begin to slide down into the stretch. So maybe we end up at the thigh, maybe shin, or maybe further. Work. Let's plant our hands, slide the front foot back, down dog. This is heading toward the last strengthening thing. So this is 3-legged dog, right leg floats up to sky. And then right knee to nose, shifting into plank. Kick it right back up to sky, that's 5. And knee to nose. 4. 3. 2. 1. And from here, send that right leg into pigeon pose under your body. Scoot the back leg back. Maybe take a back bend just for a moment. Good, and then lower down to elbows. It's like we've popped out of the seed. It's like we're trying to settle down into the earth now. We feel this warmth. We feel this infinite potential. And so we begin to spread outward toward kind of the genetic map that that seed was created for. So maybe still asking ourselves, what seed do I want to plant? What is that seed? Whatever the map, that blueprint that's put forth, that's what's going to grow. You don't plant a sunflower seed and expect like a mulberry tree or something. You plant what you would like. So what seed is it? What seed are we creating for this to grow for us for the next few weeks and months? Nice inhale. Exhale. We'll go through down dog. We got one more side with that little challenge. So hands plant, tuck the back toes. When you come back to down dog, give the hips a couple of moments. Just shift around in ways that feel good. Good, so last side, left leg floats, three-legged dog. Knee to nose. And return, 5. Knee to nose. 4. 3, 2, 1. Reach back up last time, and then knee under and through. Scoot the back leg back, just a moment with a slight back bend. And then elbows can drop down. Calming down our heart. We're done with all the hard stuff. So let's feel everything start to slow and just ease into the growth. Like when you're planting a seed, really the planting is that initial hard spot, all that plowing you have to do, getting the rows just right, getting the seeds down into the ground, watering them. Once all that's been taken care of, all that initial work, then the growth just starts to happen. As long as you continue to water, the growth will happen. So imagine it's like all that work we did today was all that preparatory stuff. So just planting the seed and now letting it grow. Taking a good inhale. Exhale. Planting the hands, let's just come to kneeling. Our hips will do a couple of huge circles, so trace as wide as you can clockwise. Then next one is counter. Go another time to each side. After that plank stuff, let's give our wrists a little bit of attention. So both wrists rotate out until middle fingers are pointing toward knees. Sometimes this is about all we can do, and sometimes they're not even quite pointing. That's okay. If you're here and you're like, I don't really feel anything, the way to get a little bit more is to start sinking your hips back. So any degree, it's just listening to your wrist to find the perfect angle. Give it 2 more breaths. And then let's come forward to lift up, just easing with opening and closing the hands. Maybe rolling wrists. When we set hands back down, it's going to be backs up, hands down, middle fingers still toward the knees. So sometimes, again, this placement is pretty intense, so you don't need any more. If you want more, back the hips away. If you even lift up the wrist a little bit from backing away, that's fine, as long as that wrist stretch is still doing okay. Nice inhale. Exhale, same thing. Pick up the hands, open and close them. Roll them out. Maybe even shake. Good. Just a couple of final stretches. Let's go onto our belly, Sphinx pose. Elbows are underneath us. Pull that heart forward and through, stretching our abdominal muscles that we worked. Swiveling left hand in. Let's see if the right hand can grab the right toes. Let's take a little quadricep stretch. Pull those toes in. Feel the thigh stretching. Good. Release. Switch it to second side. Back through Sphinx. Make sure the belly is in the stretch, pulling the heart through. One more deep breath in. Nice exhale. And then slide the hands in. We'll take child pose. Kind of our last pose together. So maybe the arms are forward. Maybe the arms are tucked back. Maybe we're walking arms off one side of the mat and the other. We're going to stay just a little while, so you choose the perfect child pose. It's like the seed is so ready to flourish now. You can stay here a little bit longer if this is feeling perfect for another little bit. At this point, if there's any last stretches your body would love to take, you can do any of those as well. Seated stretches, laying down stretches. We'll give it another minute or maybe more until we're ready for Shavasana, ready to just rest for the last few minutes. So no rush to get there, especially if you're in something that's really good. Just luxuriate in it, enjoy it. And the Shavasana can look like anything when we're ready for it. It can be a child pose. It can be resting on our belly. It can be legs up wall. There's all sorts of variations. So taking any stretches that will help us to ease toward our Shavasana today. Sooner or later, zero rush. Take all the time you need. No rush if you're still preparing for Shavasana, but when you get there, imagine it's like we've created this environment, this rich soil, and it's like the soil of infinite potential, almost like that seed, that moment that it burst forth. It's like a moment of Big Bang where, ooh, what's going to happen next? Just excitement, just energy, just good things to come. So as we're here in this beautiful potential energy state, allow ourselves to kind of focus on what is it that we'd like to see growing over this next little bit of time. Don't focus on it too hard. It's just the ease that happens as we inhale and as we exhale. It's just there. So having given the body that chance to just kind of reintegrate everything back together, let's begin to slowly head out. Just deepen the inhale and exhale. Let's bring movement back to fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Stretching out like we're waking up first thing. Maybe a fetal position off to one side. Giving it a good maybe 3 or 4 breaths. Basically waiting for that moment when you feel ready to rise back up sooner or later. With hands at our heart, we feel kind of the excitement of this infinite potential. We feel ready to use this energy to go do amazing things so that it's almost like this energy of manifestation. Anything can be manifested before us, anything that we planned. So with this excitement, this energy to lead us on, let's wrap up the time we got to share together today with a sound of Om. Deep inhale now. May we be filled with light, happiness, and peace. Namaste.